Hello, 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 hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my channel. So ultimately, right, I'm just gonna do a quick little what's coming in, planets read, and some of the things it is that we got going on right now, right, is Saturn being in retrograde, right smack dab in the shadow period of Mercury being retrograde. So, fifth, what does that mean? Ultimately, it'll be about the different types of communications it is that one will have with an individual and what would be the actions or, that would come into place based off of those types of communication. Oh, excuse me, that would have been had and held. With that being said, right, of course, not all readings are going to resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. That is okay. I've been watching the news, or not watching the news, I've been scrolling through like the news feeds and things of that nature, and it was one of those, oh my goodness, it's all kind of hell breaking loose every damn where. What did you people do? Oh my goodness. And then on top of that, it was with the I had seen a couple nursing videos, right, to make me laugh, but what it really was given was what would go on, the difference between being at Earth School versus being at the Earth Hospital, so to speak, right? Or the Earth Healing Station, or Earth as a healing station. So there was that portion. The other part of it, right? I had been doing a lot of self reflection over a lot of different situations, and it was one of those. Okay, certain things just realistically don't apply to me any longer when it comes to different what would be supposed, right, for uh, in the projected area. This is the problem that comes into place that I personally know, right? Yeah, don't be trying to be on my page to find out where my head is or it is that I would be thinking about and all this other stuff, right? Yeah, because I don't operate in two different mind or pause. I know how to operate in all my gifts and they not overlap. So there's that portion. I just heard say what you have to. Yeah, basically, it's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world, realistically, that pertains to my musical readings. Yeah, and a person trying to depict just what it is in just one area with things that typically be where people mess up with me. But we finna kick into this reading as much as we can for real. I didn't bring out all of the cards, and the cards it is that I did bring was the Murder of Crows, the Chakras deck, and the White Sage Tarot. Some of this is going to be in regards to what would have constituted as chakra magic, I'm supposing. And chakra magic typically deals a little bit more with the planet Neptune, Saturn, and one's moon sign is what is really coming to me. So you could place this at your sun, moon, rising. Actually, yeah, it could sun, moon, rising, uh, Saturn, Neptune, and I don't want to say Mercury. This is the reason why, because typically people don't really understand the connection that comes into place with Mercury and Neptune and Saturn. Yeah, it's given that whole trine conjunction, all that stuff. Yeah, like I don't know those terms a whole lot, but I do know the different planetary influences that'll come into place with it. So, first off, right, some of the things it is, the thing that comes into place with it, right, is when you're on your path, right, when you're on your pathway. Um, yeah, and it's given the whole aspect of what's coming in and when is it on its way and all that other good stuff. that'll be coming into place with things. So let's check it out and let's see, right? Let us see. Some of the dreams it is I had, I could talk about that for a second because those do constitute as the Neptune aspect. Dreams, kindred spirits, all of that kind of stuff, right? That's what goes into place a little bit more with how it is things will come into place. I've been having a lot of different dreams. Yeah, one of they've been actually I've been able to see the people it was that I was dreaming about though already, uh, in 3D, right? In some of the instances, uh, and others, right? I just heard, has it been hard for you? People keep asking me a whole bunch of questions on an energetic level. That's something that's kind of um, I'm thinking the word I want to use is paramount, right? Um, but ultimately, no, it really hasn't been hard for me to like clear a lot of stuff out. Making sure that I don't, uh, for lack of a better phrase, and rub elbows with the wrong people is pretty much the main thing that I've been kind of focusing on, in that regard. And when I say rub elbows with the wrong people, yeah, you'll be amazed where things take place over the past few, and in addition to that, right? Or say whatever you have to. Uh, People keep asking me a whole bunch of questions. They keep asking me a bunch of questions and asking a bunch of questions about me. So when it's all said and done, it's one of those, okay, I'm answering the questions, but within me answering the questions, yeah, people think, oh, this is allowing this is like, it's like, okay, my energetic field ain't built like everybody else's. That's part of it. And the other part of it is I don't have to answer it if I don't want to. There's that portion. The other thing is, why can't y'all just, yeah, sometimes y'all need to just enjoy the Knicks mix. That's the other thing. Stop. Yeah, sometimes don't fucking analyze it. Sometimes just enjoy the fucking Knicks mix. And if you know what is and you know what ain't, and past situations have shown, right, that ultimately when I'm playing something, check y'all streaming. Check the streaming because one of the things that was coming to me is with my book, if my book was being streamed or if you could get it like through the library and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those, okay, so people would have read the book, but within them reading the book, what are they doing with the information and who's reading it and things of that nature. Um, I typically talk about situations that happen with me because I don't like talking about other people. Yeah, that'd be too daggone much. So there's that part. The other portion of it is um, being in alignment, right? What it is to be in alignment. Some of the dreams and visions I had, one of them was with like this situation, like with Medea. Yeah, the woman, she was giving off Medea vibes, so to speak, which kind of makes me question if Tyler Perry is doing something new or doing something else. Uh, uh, Another thing would be, yeah, because it was like, what would happen if a person lived above a grocery store and some stuff like that, which is reflective of a movie it was that I watched, but it was a Chinese film and they lived above their cleaners, right? They lived above the cleaners. So there's that. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else am I supposed to share with you guys? Yeah, because in a lot of instances, some things aren't supposed to be shared. The other part of it is a lot of people, right, forgetting. Uh, And it's not that they forget. That's one of the things, right? Yeah, because Mercury and Saturn and Neptune all bring into remembrance. They all bring into remembrance what it is that will be going on and how it is things will take place and things will happen. I took a screenshot. I'm thinking I'm going to post the screenshot, right? So you guys, yeah, because I noticed what it is that took place, right? Is it keeps my thing, it'll show that it's a person on, but then it'll go down to zero. Yeah, it'll move from one to zero, and then it'll shift over and show a different amount of views and all this other stuff. It was one of those, oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's still doing it. So it's just one of those, okay, I'll figure it out. In any event, though, a lot of that is that I'm talking about, right, will be in regards to Mercury and whether or not a person can understand uh, that energy is being read, right? A lot of people, unfortunately, um, when they listen to my readings for whatever reason, they don't understand the way energy is read or the way energy or essence is read or any of that. So that can be a little bothersome, so to speak. All right. But yeah, so there's that. The other thing, right? Yeah, what it is to be tired. I've been technically quote unquote tired, or my essence, my energy comes off as tired a lot. Primarily because A, I do so much, and B, I'm not able to really be settled and be comfortable. So if any other intuitives are picking up on my energy and is tired, I don't know what to tell you. Thank you for the encouragement, but in this moment and for a really long time, yeah, I've been running on fumes, and within me running on fumes, it's not very much that has been done to accommodate my comfortability. Considering one of the things that was talked about, right, was how all of the spell work it was that was done counteracts other spell work, and I told people that some years ago, 3 4 years ago, yeah, about 3 4 years ago, I uh I spoke about that, and then even last year I talked about it a whole lot, and then just over the course of this past year, the intent being that I will fight for my life, and it's one of those, okay, I'm just doing my spiritual missions. As long as I stay on task with my spiritual missions, I don't really be like I be uh so many different words are coming. I be aware of what the situation calls for or what the situation is, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm quote unquote fighting for my life and all this other stuff. The other thing is, yeah, with reading my pictures, even my pictures that I put up are a part of a reading. I don't think, yeah, that's the Neptune aspect that'll come into place. The pictures I put up, the songs I play, unless you actually know me as an individual, you realistically won't catch on to that. So there's that. Um, what else? What else? What else? Uh, Different spiritual connections and why a person would be connected to them. And the belief that because a person is a healer, they deserve the absolute worst in a relationship, so to speak. So there's that. Um, because it keep going, the thing keep going from 0 to 1, and it's just funny. No, because what it's giving is programming. Programming. How it is a program will be put in place based off of one person's readings, and it depicts who all comes up in regards to that. If they using me as a program, they're doing a really shitty job because I'm an actual human. I'm not a fucking robot. And it's the same situation that would have been happening and the lack of empathy, right? Yeah, so in that regard, what constitutes as empathy? And can you teach a computer program empathy? Is realistically what that's boiling down to. All right. Or what it is to empathize. Another thing it is that will come into place with that whole Mercury, Saturn, Neptune situation that would be going on is the way one would treat their spiritual connections. And it's not always necessarily based out of trauma. A lot of people don't understand how trauma is started and how trauma is developed. And when you have individuals who connect to you based through a trauma bond, now, if a person, here's the deal that comes into place with it. If a person or when people implement traumas onto a person, there is action that comes in regards to that after the fact because you're intentionally causing an issue for an individual just so there can be some sort of connectivity. And yeah, and the thought process is, okay, this is your trauma now, so you have to connect to me and you have to tell me what's going on. Well, in that regard is a matter of uh with the way the planets are set up, it's like causing and starting a war on the spirit. Yes, you starting a war on a person's spirit unnecessarily. Now within this murder of crows, right? If you all were taking notes in the murder of crows readings, right? It's gonna be in regards to what it is that will go on within it being for in some instances uh cold, right? Asking for help over the course of 5 years, one not being heartbroken, and there being reconciliation. But this is the alchemist code, so we do things a little bit differently around these parts. We don't do coattails and we don't do breadcrumbs, right? So I'm gonna be looking into a lot of that in a little bit. Uh, Breadcrumbs and breadcrumbing. Ultimately, yeah, that's not a defense mechanism for individuals, unfortunately. That is a direct reflection of saying, I don't trust what spirit told me to do for this person or that person. I'm going to do it my own way and I'm going to get away with it, right? So within one not waiting, and then within one not waiting, right? Here in the Alchemist Code, the way I read, I see exactly what it is that'll be going on at face value with the cards, and then uh, what would be the incoming right aspect that'll come into place. So within it, right, within one asking for assistance, one not being heartbroken, and then there being a reconciliation the with one feeling stable in the illusion of an angel, and there not being a passion new beginning from one to rush in the supernatural, right? So it's that part. Well, one of the things it is that kept replaying or keeps replaying, right, is the situation that took place about a couple weeks ago with a woman that I was taking care of, and how she lied. She lied so bad about everything, and it wasn't even necessarily to cover her ass. It was to help someone else out that wasn't even really helping her. So that pretty much be the issue that comes into place with a lot of different things. The other part of it is no, it's one of those, if you can't hear my voice, you can hear my plan. If you can't hear my voice, please hear my plan. I'm the Lord, I see you, and yes, I understand. Yeah, it'll be about whether what understanding is. That's been a song by Escape that's been coming up, and how so many people escape, intentionally escape understanding something. So there's that. Um, and how people will do certain things just because uh they don't have a passion new beginning, right? So what will be coming in though, right, would be the heartache with there being an ending to one's passion and new beginning, right? So the planets that are showing up though, right? We have Jupiter here, and Jupiter is supposed to be going retrograde uh, in a while. Well, what this is immediately showing is there'll be 5 years of stability. At well, yeah, 5 years of stability, so feeling stable in the illusion of the angelic and the alchemical aspect within one being able to rush in the supernatural. Yeah, because what it's given is what happens when people meditate. I heard damn good. Yeah, within the whole meditation aspect, and even within one not waiting for the ships to come in, not waiting for relationships. Some of this stuff is gonna be about 3 years, not 3 years ago. It may be about 3 years ago, but ultimately it'll be in addition to that, it'll be about 3 weeks ago. One would have asked for help with them while one wouldn't have been heartbroken, and a reconciliation with this Queen of Pentacles. One of the things that typically comes into place, right, with the whole Queen of Pentacles, uh, it's not about I'm saying Queen of Pentacles, Pentacles, but the word that's coming up is the Queen's Pinnacle, Pinnacle. So you may want to pay, yeah, the Queen's Peak. Now, because what is given is a widow's peak. That's a hairline portion. Overall essence, right? And what would be clearing out would be the whole mysticism aspect that will come into place with walking through, when one will walk through the city, being magical throughout the city. Okay, so her, go ahead and say whatever you have to. Now, because one of the things that comes up being a ghost town, how something would be a ghost town for real, and the whole mysticism of it all with the way that this person is dressed. Yeah, it's the whose mind ultimately. Yeah, and I'm hearing the word hologram. Whose mind would shape things. Okay, here's the deal that comes into place with it. Yeah, now it's giving them meta glasses. That's what it's giving. It's definitely giving those glasses, and how those glasses can record whenever they want to. Yeah, you got to go through a whole app and program in order for you to uh, log on and all this other stuff. And it's supposed to be an easier way to do things, but it could be skewing one's vision. So there's that portion. The other part of it is being the actual victim of one's instinct for balance, right? For there to be balance. And even in this regard, right? What Jupiter and the moon, right? The Yeah, and even in July, one being an angel or being an alchemist, but not having a passion new beginning with rushing in for the supernatural. Primarily because yeah, it'll be about somebody who be trying to make you do something according to what they saw and what they believe to be true, opposed to Wrong interpretations, absolutely. It'll be about the wrong interpretations that come into place of things. That's why I personally don't like watching certain people's readings after I've seen how it would have manifested. When I was okay, I don't even want to watch your reading. I don't want to comment on it. Yeah, because you'll be amazed, unfortunately, how many people don't particularly care for other ethnicities, even in the readings aspect, right? So it's just, yeah, in short, not being a humanitarian, right? And in the angelic aspect, one has to be humanitarian because you have to make sure everybody in that particular space is safe. Part one, part two, the scapegoat, being the scapegoat, how people look at angels and religion and God, goddess, and the universe, however you want to depict it, as a scapegoat for what it is that they would want and all this other stuff. Now, in one's heart, they're being the victim mentality, and that would be balanced. Or I'm also kind of getting from this, there being an understanding of what a victim actually is, and how a wolf, right? The victim would be the wolf hunting. Is given the whole hunting aspect. Wolves are really big, y'all. I don't think y'all really understand how big actual wolves are, but let me just go there. Just leave it there. And in the heart chakra, if you have Pisces in not Mercury, if you have Pisces and Venus and Libra and Venus, yeah, and how that would depict a person, right, as being a victim because they would be being used based off of what it is they would have go on. It's that part. The other thing is, oh no, I was because as a form, a lot of people understand, right? Like for me, I'm a really loving, nurturing person. I really am. Um, oh, the Goddess Boys. I'm gonna watch them later. Um, but ultimately, I am a very loving, nurturing person. Uh, However, when a person has abused me, especially when Capricorn does it, when Capricorn does it, because I typically try to defend them a lot, uh, I really do. I try to defend them a lot. It's one of those, so you finna do the same things to me that somebody else did to me, and I just got finished defending you in that regard. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I feel like super tired a lot and all that because I spent so much time defending other people so that they could get what they need while they were making me their victim. And that's where the break in contract, break in everything came into place. Yeah, even within, in short, trying to teach others how to tap into their magical aspect, it didn't deplete me any. I lost nothing from it, right? But they lost because they wanted to, opposed to tapping into their own, they figured that they could tap into mine. So put them where it needs to go for you. Yeah, due to communications aspect as well as uh, what it is that will be projected as far as karma is concerned, right? So it's that part. Now, what will be clearing out in this balance is the enlightenment that comes into place with one being an empress. Some of this is in the upright. This is get what this is giving is the whole sun sign Libra and Libra and the difference between a sun sign Libra and a Venus Libra is what that's giving. Or what if you have Mercury in Libra? If you have Mercury in Libra, you'll be able to communicate a lot of. You're gonna have to know yourself and like really sit with yourself in that regard, and there being a wish fulfillment. right, that'll come into place. Some of this is gonna be about August, right? Yeah, and one being stable and the illusion of being an angel and what it is that will go on in September. A lot, and what happens in September. Now, because the song that's coming to me is an old school song. Do you remember the 3rd of September? Right? Yeah, how it's supposed to be a real feel good time. But one of the things that'll come into place with this, right, in the Jupiter aspect or that higher knowing, school don't start in fucking September. It starts in August now. And you have to start preparing for things in July. You don't start preparing for it at the last minute. And what really constitutes as uh this is where on the alchemical aspect, right? There's the heartache and there being the ending last week is when you were trying to capture a person and lock a person into something. Yeah, but you haven't fulfilled everything it is that you were supposed to do in totality. In short, stop doing spell work, y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. Just stop doing fucking spell work. Stop doing the emotional spells. Stop doing all of it. We're trying to quote unquote lock something in that regard because you're failing at it horribly. And this is what I mean by that. This is what the cards are showing. When you put an illusion in place, right, of victory in the spiritual realm or victory in the spiritual aspect, you haven't anchored it in all of the realms yet. This is the problem that comes into place with things. And when you're working with angels, whether they be earth angels, alchemists, whatever their title in spirit, and you see them actually apply it in 3D, if you're not applying what you're supposed to in 3D, that completely counteracts whatever it is you would have asked for. So it's that. The other portion of it is what would be clearing out with this Queen of Pentacles, right? And the and what it is to have guided emotions, right? Yeah, that'll be like the emotional spells and all this other stuff. Well, no, because one of the things I was thinking about is it keeps coming up so much. Well, you can have sex with this person, you can have sex with that person, you can do whatever you want to. It's one of those, yeah, but what if a person doesn't want to do those things? Yeah, y'all not really paying attention to the development of what it is that would be going on in totality. That I don't know if it frustrates other readers, especially when we're talking about the higher knowing, there being STDs out, and even with the whole spiritually transmitted demons, and how even cancer, right, can cause problems in an individual's uh, libido. That's that part. The other part of it is no, I'm not talking. I'm talking about like cancer, the sign, not cancer, the like ovarian cancer, right? In this regard, it would indicate that there would be some situations that would be going on how the supernatural aspect of cancer comes into place, and it being rapid. Now, the cancer, the sign, unfortunately, has a tendency to, uh, before they would respond out of their higher nature, right, they'll automatically go to their negative nature, right, their lower self first. And then after, yeah, as a reaction, then they will go into the other part. The other thing is when you would tell a person how it is, you transform in particular places, so they want you to be in that space with a person that's like that so you could transform again. And it's one of those, why you trying to control shit? You can't even control your damn self with knowing how to what's in your eighth house. That's basically what that boils down to. A lot of the eighth house and 12th house situations, but most certainly it'll be Fourth house with Cancer with this Chariot card. It'll be the 11th house to review, not the 10th house. And then it'll be in the supernatural aspect, the contract that will come into place. But what would be clearing out, right, would be one at face value, right? The instability being dirty, right? And what it is to be constituted as dirty, unstable, not feeling stable, all of those varying aspects. In this victim aspect, it'll be about the manipulations that come into place with one not doing love and being emotionally abusive. And what it is with one not being a lover and it not being a tower moment. In short, the hater, the haters. Now, in regards to this, right, not having the intelligence that comes into place with what a tower moment is or what a tower moment would entail. And then there being the influence of reciprocation or over the course of 6 years, how one would have been a victim of one's instinct for 6 years. No, because one of the things that kept coming up is how do you train your dragon up and being a part of a third party situation or the celebrations. One of them is how do you train your dragon? And first and foremost, I don't think people even really pay attention to the animal aspect of things. Animals have a great level of intelligence. That's the reason for the murder of crows, right? They have the intelligence of a 7-year-old. Now, let's seriously sit down and think about this. 7-year-olds are very intelligent. They're highly intelligent. They know how to do quite a bit. You don't find other animals that can do that. It's that portion. The same thing goes into play. And they also have genetic memory. Same thing that goes into place with wolves and dogs and all of the different, it doesn't matter what breed it is, right? There's a level of intelligence and you have to build trust with it. A lot of times people just expect that trust is supposed to be given, and this is how we've come into with this higher knowing aspect, and even with what it is, the illusions that would have taken place on Thursday, and on Monday. Is there any other day that I could see on her? Friday, Sunday and Friday, the balance that comes into place with Sunday and Friday, and then how the emotional manipulations would have come into place with Wednesday. One of the things I'm gonna go, no, because one of the things that I know that when we're talking about Saturn with Neptune and Jupiter, it would have been the show Wednesday if another episode would have came out. Yeah, and how tapped in a person would be in that regard and what it is that would be nurtured. Yeah. Her, go ahead and say what you have to. No one wants to have to babysit grown people. And people do be expecting for that that's what constitutes as a person being nurturing. Them kissing somebody else all the time, babysitting them, making sure that they're okay. Nobody want, and when you yourself aren't stable, yeah, one of the things it is that would come into place is like having another adult in the house. Uh, no one wants to babysit for free. I don't think people really understand that. Now, that wouldn't necessarily be, uh, yeah, I'll talk about it, a childhood wound. But when people try to re-implement the exact same shit you already been through, and you're trying to prevent them from getting fucked up, from doing some shit to you, that'd be the reason why me personally, I'd be like, you know what? No, I don't want to talk to nobody because I know I already see the flow of way, ebb and flow of the way things would go. So why would I bother with it? I can already see how that's gonna go. That's not along my path. In addition to that, well, no, because I used to do readings, and if a person benefits off that reading by right, you owe me money. yeah, you owe me something for the benefit that you got off of what I did. Because that's where the energy stealing and all this shit comes into place with it. You intentionally want me to show up, and then you think because you're hidden that it's all of a sudden, oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. You get fucked up like that in spirit. That's why I'll be like, okay, let me just chill out because ain't nobody in St. Louis doing what the fuck they supposed to. Or pause, it's not nobody. Let me not say that. It's not enough people. You come into my life because you would know that you can get financial stability off of it, but then you turn around and within that you have no way to reciprocate. Like you can't even do a reading on my situation back. You can't do a reading on my situation back. You realistically don't have nothing good to say to me. You don't want to help me, and you want to play. Yeah, and then there's this victim mentality that'll come into place, and you feel that because you were a victim of something else, that now all of a sudden I'm supposed to open my heart, but you're not realizing that you're a victim of something else because you made me a victim. Take that how it resonates, right? Yeah, I'm using myself in that, but if it don't fit, don't force it. And it goes the same way, vice versa. If you're making someone a victim, and then you turn around and you being like, "Oh my God, no, no, why I wasn't victimized." It's one of those you have to be honest with yourself, and then it's the whole accountability factor that comes into place with shit. So in that regard, within a passionate beginning, within asking for assistance in the discussions of the King of Pentacles, right? Or within one being financially stable, and how there would have been financial instability. Now, because what is given is somebody would have said, "Oh my goodness, how did you have a miscarriage?" And that realistically would have been more so of an abortion. Yeah, if this is in regards to what it is that would have taken place with Fahrenheit, they killed my shit. The fuck with spell work, candle magic, water magic, just from what's being shown. Yeah, in short, this is what happens in the shadow aspects of everything. And sure, I had everything going and I was doing everything for myself. And not only did I help myself, but I helped a whole bunch of other people and it not being reciprocated. That's where the heartache, in the incoming aspect, it'll be the heartache ending over the week. Huh. And I'm saying over the week, WEEK, but it'll be weak, WEAK, and in short, what a person's weakness would be. All right, so that's that portion. In short, what would be coming in, right? It'll be about the emotional intelligence that comes into place with knowing what an ending is, and the emotional inspiration that comes into place with one being inspired, right? Through fast movement of the supernatural, or yeah, in short, is given the way God moves, how it is that God would move in a situation. Okay, yeah, it's given like the whole miracles and all that other stuff. Her go ahead and say what you have to. What one person constitutes as a miracle wouldn't be the same as what another person would constitute as a miracle. When you know the ins and outs of things and a person is willing to tell you about their life, yeah, for me that's not a miracle. It's not, because I just heard, just say it however it is you need to. I read people on a very regular basis, so knowing what's going on in their life, and then on top of that, I'm not young, but I'm not as old as some of the other people. But I don't need to sit down with a whole bunch of people all the time to know exactly what the hell is going on in their life. And with them being an empath, and a lot of people want to use empaths in that regard because they can feel where they're coming from. And it's one of those, I don't give a damn if I can feel where you're coming from. Those feelings don't match what it is that I have going on currently. And if I don't want to be around you, a person doesn't have to be around you. Yeah, and if you want to be on bullshit because a person don't want to be around you, that says more about, that's the emotional manipulation, and that counters you actually, a person actually being a nurturing, loving, and caring person. Because in being nurturing, loving, and caring, you know how to give a person space so that they can get themselves together, so they can do whatever is necessary for you. But in that same token, it's like, I'm gonna put it, it's like giving an allowance, okay? Because you would teach your child independence in doing it, even if it's just $1. You get what I'm saying? And even in partnerships and things of that nature, right? Now, what would be coming in is the lovers as a tower moment, and who would constitute as a lover in a tower moment. I heard say what you had to, because within the whole true love coming in, everybody keep thinking that it's supposed to be a romantic partner, and typically it don't be a romantic partner. True love coming in could constitute as a person who's a Virgo, who is in a upright and knows how to speak their mind and walk in alignment. It could also constitute as a Gemini, regardless of what their alignment is. Or it could be a person who you're romantically involved with. It could also be business, a person that you would have loved to do business with. Yeah, y'all need to go back and review the different types of love, because if you're focusing on one type, it's not gonna work. That shit ain't gonna work. That shit ain't gonna work. All right, all right. So I'm hoping it helps everybody out just a little bit, right? Yeah, even though my numbers don't say that I'm reading for a generous amount of people, I know I'm reading for a generous amount of people. Even if I'm just reading for my city of people, that's 279,000 people right off the motherfucking bat that this shit's gonna apply to, whether they watch it or not. I'm already knowing that. And that's at the bare minimum. The amount of people. Pay attention to, if you know the person, the meaning of the person's name, right? That's going to be important. And within this whole self worth aspect, right? The self worth that comes in a place with grief, how a person would desire for one to be grieving and be in confusion. Ooh, about about the wisdom, or about what constitutes as wisdom. One of the things that's coming to me is curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. Here's the deal that comes into place with wisdom. It's about application. And just because you have a particular type of wisdom at one level, it may not apply for the next level. And it's not necessarily even the different level, same, yeah, different levels, same devils. It's more so a matter of how one would have learned to partner with the quote unquote devils or their demons. How do you keep it in check? Yeah, I was talking to my daughter about it last night. I don't like people talking to me about stuff. I don't like them telling me what to do with me. I don't. I've not ever been that way. And that doesn't make me unbearable. That doesn't make me stubborn. That's why I'm not in a relationship with you like that. So why do you think what you say has any bearing on me in that regard? Yeah, that's wanting too much damn control over some shit when you don't even have control over yourself. Typically people who want control over others is because they don't have control over themselves. And within them not having control over themselves, they feel is because they need to put somebody else in the right space. And it's one of those, no, that's not how that works. You should really get yourself together first. Yeah, especially when you're talking about the guidance that comes on the emotional level. No, because in the reading aspect, it's one of those. It's the whole the abuse of what it is. What should I be feeling? It's one of those. Sometimes you shouldn't feel anything. It's okay to not feel anything. Being in the void. That's one of the best. If you're an empath, Hayoka, it don't matter. And when I say an empath, I mean an actual empath. It is so much better when you don't feel anything at all. Trust me when I tell you this. It's good not to feel anything. because you get to be at base zero, part one, and you get to really examine what a real feeling and what a real emotion is. So there's that. Within the overall aspect of there being rejection, and realistically, it's not only going to be rejection, it'll be about what it is that would have taken place and from April. What's clearing out is in July, but what it'll be about is what would have taken place in April, the spirit of April, and then there being the hatred of one's wishes not being fulfilled and not being protected. That's the other portion of it. The other part that's going to come into place with this is what will be incoming is the love of a wish fulfillment for protection. All right. Trying to think. Yeah, so basically what Saturn would be bringing in is it's going to be bringing in some love's wish fulfillment with being protected, with them rejecting a lot of the one only feeling self-worth or desiring self-worth when they're grieving and in confusion. I'm gonna look that up to see what wisdom that is though. Yeah, in short, it's one of those, yeah, the whole if you know you know situation. Sometimes it's not everybody's business to know. It may not be your business to know. If here's the deal, if you gotta ask it in spirit, but you're not bold enough to ask it in real life to who you really want to ask it to, you don't need to know. That's you just being nosy. And that can get your contracts canceled and removed from a whole bunch of shit because you just want to be nosy. You don't want to actually do anything with it or about it. All right, so I'm hoping it helps you guys out just a little bit, gave you a tad bit of an inclination as to a few different things it is that would be going on. If you like to schedule your own yeah, I'm going to close and seal this reading, right? Close, seal, lock in this reading and the energy of this reading. So whenever you fall on it, right, it'll be pertaining to whatever it is you have going on uh, in that moment, and hopefully it helps you out just a little bit. All right, like love to you guys. Okay, all right. Cause see, remember, light work, it ain't like work. It is not light work. It's not light work. And that's why you have to stay light while you work.